Oh.
Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you. I want to say sorry. I am traveling, and so it was my technical difficulties that cost us to start a couple minutes late. But welcome to today's Lunch and Learn, getting an update on our Hardrocker football team with Coach Flohr. I'm going to give just a couple more, a minute and a half here to let more people jump on to this Zoom. And I just want to remind everyone that today's Zoom is being recorded. I am currently in Omaha. This week we've had Sioux Falls High School to Hardrockers events. We had a tailgate at a baseball game last night here in Omaha, and tonight we have our Omaha High School to Hardrocker. So if you are in any of our chapter areas, almost every one of our chapter areas is having an event this month. I highly recommend you go to our CARE webpage. I'll put it in the chat here in a minute, and check out some of the events happening around our nation this month. And I do want to welcome you guys to come back to campus this year. Homecoming is the week of the 16th to the 21st. The 20th is our M Hill picnic starting at noon. And then we have the gala in the evening where we get to honor our distinguished alumni and our outstanding recent grads. And then on Saturday is our tailgate at noon, and the game starts at 1. So come back and cheer on our Hardrockers. The greatest thing about it is when you come back at homecoming, the president's tent and our alumni tent, which is on the third ramp at the football fields, turns into one big tent, one big party. So we get to all kind of hang out. So come back. We'll have a free lunch for you, some free drinks for you also. So I do hope you can join us for homecoming this year. And with that, I just want to do some housekeeping. We'll be recording today's Zoom. We'll send you the link with a follow-up email, and we'll also post it on our CARE YouTube webpage. So feel free to share it with your colleagues and fellow alum. I do want you to go ahead and use our chat function. Tell us who's on here, say hello, and let us know your degree. And if you played for a sport on campus, let us know what sport you played for. And I will add my email here soon. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. We're always looking for ideas for our Lunch and Learns. I know I had a lot of people asking about our football team and our what their outlook is for next year. And with that, I want to introduce Coach Flohr. Coach Flohr has been a coaching veteran for over 20 years. He was appointed as the 37th head football coach at South Dakota Mines on December 2019. Flohr has been a head coach record of 20-17 in 4 years with the Hardrockers. Charlie, correct me if I've said any of those wrong. But in the 4 years under Flohr's direction, the Hardrocker football program has made some tremendous strides and currently sits with one of the highest winning percentages among coaches in the school history. And so with that, I will turn it over to Coach Flohr to give us an update. If you have questions, put those in that Q&A, and we'll ask Coach when he's done chatting here.
First of all, thanks, Shelley, for the very kind introduction. It's obviously an honor and a privilege to be here as the head football coach. A little bit of background about myself. I'm actually from the area, graduated high school from Gillette or Campbell County over in Wyoming, which is about an hour and a half away. So very, very honored to be back closer to my family and my wife's family. And, the last 4 years have been great. Getting an opportunity to come back and coach in a stadium that I actually played in high school and played in college. I went to college at Dakota State University. Could have been Dakota State College. It was a lot of different names over there. From that standpoint, it's good to be back in Rapid City and be the leader of this football program. So the last 4 years have been good for me and our staff. Like Shelley had mentioned in regards to our record and everything. Obviously something that we're very proud of. Within the transition. Obviously, when I did get hired, we were here for 7 weeks, and then COVID had hit, and we had to try and change the culture of our football program over Zoom, over the same things that we're doing today. So that was a little bit challenging, but our kids were very receptive to it, and very proud of how we initially started things out. So from my standpoint, I just wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about where our program is currently at, and at the very end of it, give you guys an opportunity to ask me some questions about some things that you guys may have questions about. So as we progress into the 2024 season, Really excited about, our growth and our progress up to this point. We're going to bring in about 120 football players. That's something that I'm very proud of. When I took this job over the fall before, there was only 92 players on the roster, and we've been able to grow our roster of more than 30 people, which from my standpoint has really given us a lot better advantage in regards to the depth side of things. We've been able to recruit our own backyard, which is something that I've been, very happy with. When you go and look at our roster, we have Colorado is probably our biggest state from a recruiting standpoint, and then after that, it's the state of South Dakota, and that's something I'm very proud of. Is we're doing a really good job of taking care of our backyard, making sure that every kid within the state of South Dakota that wants engineering, we're able to go out and get. And, I think that helps us out from a recruiting standpoint. We've been able to, to put more people in the seats for our home games because, people want to come out and watch those kids that they know so much about from the high school level or, even younger than that. And, it's been great. Those kids have been able to come out and produce, and that's something I'm really, really excited about and know that our staff will continue to do. So, we've continued to grow our roster, which has given us a lot of depth, which has really helped us out and put us in a lot more games than what we've typically done. This year, we're really excited about our schedule. If you've been paying any attention to our schedule the last month, we've added what they call a week 0 game. So just to kind of clarify that a little bit, is the NCAA gave us an opportunity to essentially play 11 games within a 12-week time period. So what that's been able to do is essentially extend our season on the front end side of things. So with our conference making the decision as well and allowing us to for that to happen, we were able to move one of our home games later in the year to the beginning part of the year. So we actually will open up at home on a Thursday night against CSU Pueblo, which is a Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference game. So we're going to open up with the conference game early. We are essentially, able. Sorry, I've got automatic lights in my office, so if I don't move, they're going to cut off. So with us, being able to move that schedule, we were able to move a home game later in the season to the beginning part of the year, which obviously from a weather standpoint here in Rapid City should make it a little bit more favorable. So when you look at our schedule, I think we've got 4 of our first 6 home games are at home. And, I think that's great for our alumni to come back to Rapid City and experience a home football game here when the weather's nice and from my standpoint, that's great. So we'll open up that Thursday night, August 29th at 6 p.m. against a top 25 opponent within the country. And, I know our alumni, our student crowd is going to be ready to go. It's actually the first week of school. So from that standpoint, we'll have great student attendance. And it's going to be, a really good football game. So we're returning 26 seniors from last year's football team. So we have a very veteran group coming back. A lot of those kids have had a lot of experience within playing the last 3 to 4 years, but we also have a very young football team. So when you look at our roster, we have a lot of kids that have some game experience, but not overall, true game experience week in and week out. So over the course of spring football and during the summertime, that's one thing we've really challenged our kids is, try and get as many, reps as that they can, both mentally and physically, to make sure when we report for fall camp August 5th that they're ready to go. So, really excited about this group that we have, and then what we'll bring in. We're going to bring in about 27 to 28 freshmen within that 120 within our roster. Our staff's done a phenomenal job of going out and recruiting the best student athletes that fit South Dakota Mines, that fit the Black Hills area, and that fit Rapid City. From my standpoint, that is very important that those kids fit who we are and what we're trying to do. I'll talk a little bit about each side of the football, and then when I get done, I'll open it up for some questions. So, start defensively. Defensively, we have 7 of our 11 starters coming back. Very veteran group at all 3 levels of the defensive unit. We have 2 defensive linemen. We have 3 linebackers, and then 2 to 3 starters in the back end that are coming back for us, which is something that, from our standpoint, we've really focused in. When you look at us statistically as a defense, we've continued to get bigger and better every year. We always talk about, first and foremost, if we're going to be good in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference, we've got to be able to stop the run. And you look at that statistically, we've been able to do that. We've been in the top third defensively within the run game side of things, and trying to make teams as one-dimensional as we possibly can. So our defensive unit, Coach Winter, our defensive coordinator, has done a really good job of implementing his defense and doing some different things in order for us to stay competitive week in and week out. So a lot of great things happening on the defensive side. Offensively, we're returning it's right around 6 or 7 from an offensive standpoint, again, depending on what personnel grouping that we're in. But some key things up front, we're returning 3 to potentially 4 offensive linemen, which is really big within what we're doing offensively and any makeup from the football standpoint. We've got 2 receivers that had lots of playing time last year that are returning. But again, from our standpoint, we've been able to do a lot of great things offensively and move the football. And then you look at our tight end group, what we're returning an all-region tight end, which we're really excited about. And and then from a running back standpoint, we've got 2 to 3 kids that have lots of experience from the game side of things. This year, from a quarterback standpoint, we did end up losing our starting quarterback to the transfer portal and Jaden Johansson. And obviously, that position is very tough to kind of fix and fill in. But we do have some very capable kids within our program that we're really excited about. And I'll mention him in person as Jake Martinelli, a kid that's been here for 4 years, kind of bought his time and waited for his turn. And from my standpoint, I'm really excited for him to get the opportunity to come in here. And in his potential last year of eligibility, he still does have another year. He's contemplating what he wants to do, if he wants to be a junior or a senior, just based off of where he's at academically. So, a lot of great things on the offensive side. And then you look at our special team side of things, and we're returning our kicker in Connor Taylor. He's already broken the school record in regards to points here at South Dakota Mines. And, there's a lot of great things that we've got within the specialist side of things. Max Wattier, our starting long snapper, he's going into his 4th year as well. So, a lot of great and positive things for us as a football team moving forward. Our kids are working extremely hard. We've got about 10 to 15 kids here in Rapid City right now. A lot of them are, we're here and then left. But a lot of them are all around the country right now doing great things from an internship standpoint. Our senior leadership council, as well as our captains, have done a phenomenal job of checking in with those kids and making sure they're doing their due diligence in working out and doing the install stuff that we've presented to them to really make sure that they're both mentally and physically ready to go when we report for fall camp here on August 3rd. So I guess with that, what I'll do is, Shelly, if it's okay, I'll just turn it over to everybody that's on here or turn it over to you as the kind of the MC of the meeting and ask these questions. So.
Perfect. Well, I will get to those questions. First thing I do want to say is that Jake Martinelli, that Coach Flohr mentioned, he was inducted to the Leadership Hall of Fame this last spring at South Dakota Mines. And so he's just showing that not only are they doing well on the field, they're doing well academically. I think I saw a 3.16 average for the athletics department as a whole as a GPA, which is amazing, as you all know, for our students. And then to also be recognized as a leader on campus, because we have some amazing students out there. Okay, so I want to give you guys a chance to hop into that Q&A section and ask some questions. I do see we have a few people on here. One is Les Rose. He's a mechanical engineering alum from 1970. He's currently in Florida with Florida at Titan Technologies, but he wrestled when he was at Mines. So welcome. But I do want to invite you that when you come back for homecoming, Les is one of our distinguished alumni that we'll be recognizing at the Heritage Gala. So one person, Lee, has asked that he believes that Colorado Mines was in the championship game last year. What does South Dakota Mines need to do to knock them out and take over the title?
That's a great question. Obviously, from our standpoint, we've got a school within our own league that has very like-minded students. With Colorado Mines down there, that program has done a really good job of being able to sustain their success with a lot of the same kids that they've been able to keep on the roster for a long period of time. Coach Sturbeck, who's now the new leader of that football program, has done a really good job of carrying on the traditions that Colorado Mines has been able to do and establish all the way back to, really the head coach that got things started by the guy by the name of Bob Stitt. And him and I have talked a lot just in regards to, him. We've known one another for a long period of time. And even before I took this job, I relied on Bob just to give me some information about the institutions and, how they did things and what maybe I can do to do things here. And I think the biggest thing for us are the things that we had just talked about is, again, building sustained success within our program consistently, having our kids develop over the course of a period of time. We're not the type of program here, the type of school that gets a lot of transfer students within our institution. We don't deal with the transfer portal a whole lot. We're going to recruit high school kids and develop them right away as an 18-year-old young man. And hopefully by the time they graduate, they're 22, 23 young men. And, first and foremost, that's what we want to do within our program. You go back and look at the success that they've had over the last couple of years. They've had consistent seniors within their team, guys that were able to stay there all summer long, all year long, and work together. And, obviously they're the model makeup of a Division II football program right now. And we're looking to do things like them, but still kind of keep our own twist on what South Dakota Mines is.
Thank you. And feel free to put your questions either in the chat or in the Q&A section. I do want to do a shout out because we have an alum, and I apologize if I slaughter your name. Sirhan, Srujan, from 2014, shouting out to you. Hello, from Georgia. One of the things that, as Coach Flohr talks about creating this amazing team and what we need to do to become more competitive is, we offer scholarships, and my partners, our coworkers at Kara, they work hard on trying to recruit for scholarships in that area. And I know, coming from an admissions background, that was a big push for certain people because, it feels good to get that scholarship. You feel appreciated, and we're being competitive against the other colleges that are offering scholarships. And as you all know, our school is for engineers and scientists. So you can't come in and get a communications degree. So we're not just going after athletes that got talent, but they also have to have that ability to be successful in the classroom. And so it does kind of narrow that pool for who they can go after. Let me see here for any more of our questions. How many starters are returning? And I think, did you already touch on that, Coach Flohr?
Yeah, I touched on it a little bit. We're about 6 or 7 on each side of the football, as well as 2 of our 3 specialists on the special team side of things.
Yeah. And, it's amazing when you come back to campus and you come for that senior game to hear where these students or these athlete scholars are going to when they get done. They're going to do some amazing things. And you just sit there and think, that's not happening at all the schools that we play against, maybe Colorado Mines, but really not other schools like that. All right. So I just want to remind everybody, this is your chance to get in front of our head coach to ask any questions about the football team. Coach Flohr, I know that we had some, not the perfect season last year as far as we had the bus fire with our students, and I know that was a little traumatizing to the team, at least a little scary for them. Can you talk about how they're doing now, like mentally as a team, how they came out of that incident?
Yeah, I think, first of all, I want to, just say thanks to all the alumni that had reached out to us in regards to that, very tough situation for our football team. And, all of your support was, very appreciative from my standpoint. And, I'd made sure to relay that to the football team. And, The thing that I, really want to touch on is, after that situation, we had an opportunity to sit down as a football team and really talk about, life things that happen during the course of your life and how you're going to learn from those things. And obviously, there were a lot of things that we all learned from within that. But, the thing that I told them is obviously a very tough situation. But the way they handled themselves, obviously in the moment, as well as after that, you don't get a lot of that out of an 18 to 22-year-old kid. And, I'm very, very happy, obviously, that, nobody was hurt physically. But we spent a lot of time just talking about the mental side of things and how, they can learn from those situations. And how resilient they were. We've got some of the best kids in the country. We've got some of the best leaders in the country. And with those types of incidences, they're going to learn from them when they get into the corporate world, into the business world, and they have to make very tough decisions on things. They've got to rely on their peers. They've got to rely on some of the experiences that they were able to have through the course of their life, and that's going to make them better people. And I can't tell you guys enough as alumni, the group of people that we're going to send out into the world, this past year, or even in the next 4 or 5 years after they graduate, that instance is going to make them better people. And and they're going to help lead the world. And from my standpoint, the first and foremost, that's what we've got to do as coaches. That's what we've got to do as leaders within our profession, as well as here on campus, is make sure we're sending better people out into the world. And the people that we send out here at South Dakota Mines, as you guys know, are top-notch people. And just very proud of our team and how they responded to that situation. And we were able to learn from it, and be able to move and progress forward from it.
Coach Flohr, I have a question for you. It doesn't go with the other one, so it's kind of a tangent. But do you have any the football players that that graduated in the last 10 years that went on to play semi-professional or with other teams outside of college?
Yeah, it's a great question. We've been very fortunate here the last couple of years. In 2020, during the COVID year, we had an offensive lineman, a young man by the name of Jack Batho. He was getting some looks after he had graduated, and this was during the COVID year. And we were very fortunate because of the state that we were in. We were an open state, so from that standpoint, we were able to actually bring some NFL scouts here on campus and hold the first ever pro day here on campus here at South Dakota Mines. And we had some NFL scouts that flew right in here to Rapid City to watch him work out. And, from my standpoint, that was kind of our first step in showing that, yes, we are an engineering school, we are an academic-based institution, but we also have some student athletes that have the capability of moving on and playing at the next level. And after that workout was done, he was essentially able to sign an NFL contract at that time. He was picked up as an undrafted free agent with the Atlanta Falcons and spent 3 weeks in their training camp, and unfortunately was cut. And his NFL career was over, and he made the decision that he wanted to get in the professional world. And now he's down in the Omaha area right now, him and his wife, and they're doing extremely well down there, which is where he's from. And then the last couple of years, we've been able to send some of our student athletes over to South Dakota State and University of South Dakota for a pro day. So the last 5 years, we've had 4 guys that have been able to work out with some NFL scouts. And try and look at what the football side of things would be after they graduate from South Dakota Mines.
Thank you. I do have a question here from Dave Lentz. He's asking, how can the alumni help get Rapid City more interested to coming out to the games to support their local team?
That's a great question. Obviously, from my standpoint, making sure that our student athletes, have a lot of people in front of them to watch them and to show that Division II football is really good. We have some good players, not only on our team, but as well as, the other teams that we play within the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. And I think that's the biggest thing is our alumni base is getting out and supporting our student athletes in person or, watching us online. And for you people that are here in Rapid City is, once you see our student athletes go out and compete on a weekly basis, of going out and sharing the news of, the type of student athletes that we have here. Like Shelley had mentioned, our record, and during that 4-year period, that's the best that it's been since the early 80s. Our students are graduating at a very high level. We're at a 98% placement rate here at South Dakota Mines right now. And, our football GPA this past spring was a 3.06. So not quite at the 3.1 that our overall student athletes are at, but, it was the best spring that we had academically. And that was 114 of our student athletes from last fall and last spring collectively, achieving that 3.06. So, we've got phenomenal kids. Our kids are willing to put in a lot of time and effort into making sure that they're, putting the best product on the field, and we try and do that. But again, I think a lot of it is just word of mouth and, sharing with the other people within the community, not only at the corporate level with the businesses, but as you're walking around the street and proudly wearing grubby on the clothes that we all wear, and making sure that our brand is out there in Rapid City, and letting them know that we've got some really good kids here in Rapid City, and it's definitely worth the 3 hours of entertainment that our student athletes put on.
Absolutely. I agree with that. This year, Dave, and to the rest of the local alumni out there, we have our summer nights. This year, our summer nights will be on the 22nd of August. So it's a week earlier than normal. And all our athletes come to that. So it is a great evening to come out. They share their schedule. They try to get out in front of our community to tell them that they're there and that they're excited and what kind of year they're going to have. This year at homecoming, we're actually the student body has brought back the parade. And so we'll have a parade at 9:30 downtown. And hopefully that'll be done by 10:30, close to 11. And then we're hoping that will really pull people right in to come out to the game. The game did get pushed back to 1 o'clock to allow for us to have people to be able to transition from the parade over to our tailgates and then to the game. So it should be, we're hoping to have a bit more presence that way this year too. I know that they're also talking about giving some tickets to companies in town that we partner with. So at the beginning of homecoming, they paint the town, and student organizations pair up with companies downtown, and they paint their windows, and we put Go Hardrockers and that information on those front windows. And so this year they're going to give some tickets to try to get more of those businesses coming out too. So we are working on it, but really, like Coach Flohr said, inviting people, encouraging them to get out and just getting our recognition, wearing our grubby and our Hardrocker, I think is also great. As I wait for another question to come on in, I want to invite you guys to not just participate on campus to our home games, but our Black Hill Brawl this year, which if you weren't at or didn't see it last year, was an amazing game. It was a lot of fun. It was very electric to be there. It was a beautiful night up in Spearfish, and they trounced them. So it was a great game. And this year we're hosting them at home on October 5th. Yes, October 5th. And it is a noon game, I believe, right? No, that one's later for that game. Is that correct? Is that a later game?
It is a 5 o'clock kickoff.
5 o'clock kickoff. Okay. And so come out, tailgate with us. We got to have more of us there than the BH people, because they'll come in force at that game too. And for those of you that are not local, for those of you out in Ohio, I see Brian on here. You can watch that through our link. So if you go to the here, I'll put in the chat. If you go to this link here, this will take you to all the Hardrocker games that they're having. And when you go into that game, you can watch live through our Mac. We'll play that. So you can watch it on your TV. If you have a smart TV, you can hook it in there. The other thing is almost all of my chapters, not Houston, because there's too much competition for other professional games happening on that day, but all my other chapters will host a watch party. So if you haven't been to one of our Black Hill Brawl watch parties, they're a lot of fun. They're singing the fight songs. They're singing their old songs while they're in there having a good time. But if you want to host something in your own home, please reach out to me. I'd love to help send you some swag or something to help make that day, make you feel like you're part of the crowd. But that is a great game to watch. The other game I want to invite you out to is if you're out in the Colorado area, we're at at Golden, Colorado on the 12th of October, and we will be hosting a tailgate starting at 10 o'clock. The game will start at noon. That is a fun game. We have all of our visitors are all on one side of the field, so we're kind of all together rooting for our team. And the team is right in front of us, so they can really hear you root. So if you get a chance, please come out to those games with us. All right, I want to just double check to make sure I'm not missing any more questions out there for the team or for Coach Flohr. Coach, I do have one question for you. Which are the games that you're looking like you can take the team this year? Which are the games that you're saying, yep, we should have that. We should have that team pretty well beat.
Well, man, that's a tough question. You put me on the spot. Obviously, every football game we want to go in and make sure that our kids are well prepared and um, make sure they're given the best opportunity to win the football game. We play in a very tough competitive conference. The Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference has gotten bigger and better every single year. There's been a lot of movement, within the top half and the middle half. I think the biggest thing for us is what we truly talk about is just going 1-0 every week and making sure we're doing everything that we can to make sure we go 1-0 every week. And obviously the rivalry games are big. We got Black Hill State at home. We go to Chadron late in the year, and then we go to Colorado Mines this year. And I know from an alumni standpoint, those are all big football games, but the thing that I really try and stress with our kids is every game is big. They work, they train, they do a lot of things for just the 11 games that they're guaranteed, and we got to make the most of every opportunity. So, for us to go out, we've got to make sure we're well prepared every single week for the opponents that we're going to face. Obviously, there's some new teams that we haven't seen. We go up to Michigan Tech in Houghton, Michigan. So, we have the honor and privilege of taking our kids up to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and really excited for just that road trip. Every road trip is memorable for our kids because they spend a lot of time together. So for us to go to a place that a lot of people have never been before and play against a school that are, have like-minded kids, I'm really excited about. And then, we get the opportunity to play a school from the Northern Sun Conference, or used to be in the Northern Sun Conference in Upper Iowa. So you playing those non-conference games are always important, always big, because it gives us an opportunity to see what other schools are like within the country. And then, as you know, the other 9 teams within the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference are tough. So, really excited about our overall schedule and having the opportunity to play, 4 of our first 5 home games here at O'Hara Stadium.
And I appreciate you mentioning the Michigan Tech football game. So that is going to be on September 5th. We will also have a tailgate out there. I know of some alum that are planning on flying in. They're really excited for this game because it doesn't happen very often. Is that correct?
Yeah, you're correct on that.
About every 4 years or so, you guys get out there?
Yeah, we try just based off of our conference and where we're recruiting a lot of our student athletes as of now. With us having a lot of Midwest ties, we want to try and play games over in that area, so all of our Missouri, Kansas, Iowa, Minnesota people have an opportunity to come watch our football team come out and compete, knowing because a lot of our conference games are here in Rapid or obviously south in Colorado. So my main goal is to always try and have a game somewhere over east within that side of the state, or even further for alumni that are truly in the Midwest or have an opportunity to come from the East Coast to watch us play.
Absolutely, yes. Well, I do hope that you guys, whether you get back to campus in person to watch and come to our tailgate, which our tailgate tent turns into the Hall Inn. We bring out the Hall Inn sign, the whole bit. So it's everything that Hall Inn was, except for the sticky floors, all the same great people, beer. And we even have our new Hardrocker ale that we'll have at our games too. So that is a fun partnership that we have with Dakota Point. And every pour you have over there at Dakota Point, we get $1 in scholarship. So it's a good partnership. And then they sell them, of course, at the games. And we get a bit of a scholarship from there too. I will be sending a follow-up email to everyone here today with a link to this video, with a link to the games, and also to some instructions on how to go ahead and watch the live stream. So whether you can come back in person or you're doing it through the internet, we hope that you come back and root on our Hardrockers and help them to have a winning season this year. We're looking forward to that. And Coach Flohr, I just really want to thank you for your time today and coming and presenting to us especially. It was a good honor for our alumni to be able to see you in person or see you one-on-one like this through the internet, and then to be able to ask some questions. And if you do have questions you think of later, or you just are looking for ways that you can support the team emotionally by coming up to the game or even financially, I'll put that in the email too. So that'll be out there for you. I want to thank you guys all for your time today on this hopefully sunny, beautiful June day in your areas, because it definitely is in ours. And I hope to see you again. We just have some thank you messages on here for the update and on the update on the team and the games, Coach Flohr. So,
all right. Thank you very much. Appreciate everybody getting on, and I look forward to seeing you here this fall. And lastly, go Hardrockers.
That's right. Go Hardrockers. Thank you all. Have a great day.